I've been practicing energy healing for 36 years. And I started practicing energy healing because it helped me solve some fairly significant issues. But first, I had to be terrified and resist doing that work. Does that sound familiar? Let's talk about it. I'm Leigh, founder and director of the Energy Healing Institute, and today we're talking about moving past that chunk of fear and that behavioral resistance that keeps all of us at times from digging in and moving through whatever the dark stuff is. I'll tell you my story. It began in 1991 with a diagnosis, and I have another video on the channel about that. I had a diagnosis of chronic fatigue syndrome. Leading up to that, I'd been through a really rugged divorce, and it took 2 years to resolve. There wasn't a lot of money at stake. There was a lot of anger on my part, and there was a lot of stubbornness, we'll say that, on my ex-husband's part. In the process of leaving that relationship, there was a whole ton of inner work lined up for me to do because he did his things, but I did mine. And I was really aware that I was culpable in lots of ways for what ended up being our ultimate divorce. And I was terrified to do the work because I didn't want to find out just how awful I truly was. I knew what he thought. I even knew secretly what I thought. But I actually thought it could be even worse. And as I started to do that work and dig into what all was operating inside of me, I was really afraid of how dark things might be, of how terrified and how frightened I was that I would discover that I was ultimately not likable. It's a lot like this picture that you're looking at here. This is a picture in downtown Caminha, where I live in Portugal. It's an old abandoned building. And as you can see, there's a window with no glass, and growing behind the window in this dark cavernous space is this dark green ivy. You can imagine the spiders, you can imagine the bugs, you can imagine what all might be littering the floor of this abandoned building. And that's kind of what it feels like to be so afraid to go in and to find out that you're going to fall into this dark pit and never come back out again. And what I discovered as I started to do the work that I hid my fear and masked it as anger. And I had to unpack that and actually discover that a lot of my anger was actually fear that I was covering up. And as I came to terms with lots of different things in my story, I had to realize that my defensive behaviors and my justifications for why I did things that I did were really masks for resistance, masks to letting those behaviors go. And that's a lot of work, and it takes courage for sure. And Lord knows there are lots of people who are more courageous than I and have done lots and lots of work. So I am not putting myself on a pedestal here. But what I really came to terms with, perhaps this is going to help you, that the light that I wanted to emanate on the outside actually comes from the inside. And so if the inside is covered with all that ivy and all that hidden stuff that does not see the light of day, then we can't bring that light out. So as you look at this second image of the fabulous morning glories blooming through another abandoned building just down the road from the first one, you can see that somehow the light has gotten in. And in having the light on the inside, the flowers have come out on the outside. That is what happens. We let the light in and we bloom. Now notice with that door that there are still things that aren't quite right. The stone around the door is kind of dirty. The door needs paint. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to be done. In fact, the door is rotting. So just like me, just like all of us, it's not perfect. But the light from the inside is emanating out. I took these two pictures this week because they tell such a beautiful story of moving past the fear, moving through the resistance to bring the light inside so that it can emanate outside.